Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I'm bringing you my guest, Lucas. Are you interested in boosting your overall well-being? Do you believe that you can biohack your body so you can live a life that is happier, longer, and more energetically? Maybe you're someone who can't really get things done and you would like to find ways on how to be more productive and be more motivated. Oh my darlings, I am so excited to bring you Lucas. He's the founder behind Ergogenic Health. He's the living example that you are what you eat, and he's also a living example that you can really take control over your health and your life. I know that you're going to learn a thing or two from this interview. I want to quickly mention though, whatever you're about to learn is based on his own research, his experience, and his studies. Before you make any medical or lifestyle changes after you have listened to all the interviews that have been provided here, I would highly recommend you to consult your medical and healthcare professionals, or maybe you can get in contact with the qualified professionals that I have brought on. I am super happy that you are willing to take responsibility for your own life. However, you do still need to check with professionals to make sure that you're going down the path that is serving you, not harming you. In saying that, I am so excited for Lucas to share his knowledge and to share with you how you can boost your biology. And for the gentlemen out there, I would highly encourage you to continue watching because he is going to touch on a little bit on how you can boost your testosterone. And for everyone else, continue watching as well because he is going to share with you how you can have quality sleep. So enjoy!
I introduce you to everyone and dive deep into your brain. I would love to say a huge thank you because I'm sure that you're a busy person helping everyone. So thank you so much for your time. And I would also love to know, how are you feeling today?
Yeah, I'm feeling supercharged as always. Got up nice and early and already been for a nice jog and nice run. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having a good chat.
Yes, I'm excited as well. Well, please share with people how you got to where you are today.
So I guess my journey really started out with just a pure passion and interest in understanding the body and from a physiological perspective, and then just started researching and experimenting with different lifestyle hacks and different diets, different supplements, and things like that. And yeah, just fell in love with the whole idea of being able to sort of take control of your body. And I guess now my mission is to empower people with the knowledge that I've learned and what I research, and just give people the tools and techniques that they need to become better humans, I guess.
Yes. For those who are listening and watching, I would just highly suggest them to go and subscribe to your podcast because on your first episode, you have really explained how you got to where you are today. But what I'm wondering is, like, have you always been this motivated to live well?
Yeah, I guess like from a young age, because I was playing professional soccer, so I was always oriented around like high performance and like I guess fine tuning aspects of my lifestyle to cater for performance. So I've always been like a very like healthy, more health oriented sort of individual.
Would you like to quickly explain to people what ergogenic is actually?
Sure, yeah, it's a good question because I get it a lot. So ergogenic is basically, it's a term that's used to describe any technique or substance that can either improve either physiological or psychological performance. So that can be like certain breathing habits, that can be certain supplements, herbs, compounds, anything that improves overall either physiological or psychological performance.
Well, how would you describe a holistic health?
So holistic health to me is something that encompasses like dietary, sleep, exercise, movement, stress management, just encompassing all aspects of one's, I guess, lifestyle and to really acknowledge and appreciate that they all heavily influence how we think, feel, and behave, I guess.
Mm. Speaking of
Mm.
sleep, what are some things that you would like people to, I guess, be aware of in their everyday life?
Yeah, so when it comes to sleep, I think one area that a lot of people really need to pay close attention to is simply hacking the light in our environment. So making sure, obviously, like avoiding blue light and wearing those blue blocker glasses in the evenings. And then another real simple hack that people can take advantage of is first thing in the morning, try and like get sunlight on your face. But even like in the early hours, like within half an hour of the sun actually rising, try and actually look at the sun and like do a little bit of sun gazing. Obviously, this is not like medical advice, and be careful because it can be very dangerous. But having said that, on the days that I've like, sun gaze for like 5 minutes in the morning, like my sleep quality that night is improved, and my general energy is a lot better as well during the day.
Yeah. So I will be having Dang from Barkley Eyewear on. So
Awesome.
For those who are listening and watching, please stay tuned. So actually, I was going to ask, because your dad is a pharmacist, isn't he?
Yeah.
So how was his reaction when you went onto this natural path?
Well, funnily enough, about a year before I even decided to start with my naturopathy career, I'd already like helped my dad out personally with his own like health issues through like natural methods and natural supplements and herbs and things like that. And so I think after he saw that I'd made such a positive impact on his health and well-being, he started to realize, like, oh, maybe, natural medicine, there's some merit, there's some benefits in natural therapies. And until this day, he's still very supportive of what I do. And I'm very blessed because I have really nice parents, like, and they're very supportive of my endeavors. And I haven't really looked back, and it's been a phenomenal journey so far. And I'm just looking forward to continuing to spread the message and provide like extremely useful health content, which is what I'm striving to do every day.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. And thank you to your parents. I think having a supportive group is super, super important. Now, you talked about sun gazing, but what are some things that people can eat, I guess, to help their sleep?
It's a good question. So there are certain foods that have like sleep promoting properties. First one is actually kiwi fruit. There's a study where adults had 2 kiwi fruit about 1 hour before bed, and that actually improved the time to fall asleep, and even improved overall sleep quality as well. So that's a really simple sort of intervention, like a beginner stack, if you want to call it. And then even pistachios have been shown to raise blood levels of melatonin, which is our master sleep hormone. So I usually have like maybe a handful of pistachios half an hour before bed. Some nights if I'm too wound up or too energized, and that actually has an interesting effect on my dreams as well. I always get weird dreams when I have pistachios.
Do you record your dreams?
That's something I have. Out of all the things that I track, I rarely track my dreams. But yeah, it's a good point. I probably should start doing that.
That would be so fun. Oh my god. Well, actually, did you have pistachio last night? Did you have a weird dream last night?
Oh, I didn't have any last night, no.
Oh, darn it. It would have been fun to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, because you actually had a reflex trouble when you were 15, is that right?
Yeah.
I just personally feel like it's never ever too early to look after yourself, because at the end of the day, we only have one body and it's our choice to look after ourselves. So what would you encourage, I would say, teenagers to do?
Okay, to help which aspect of their health?
That is such a good question. I guess in teenage stage, with a study actually, because people always lose focus.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be quite biased because, I mean, when I was a teenager, I was studying pretty hardcore and I was utilizing nootropics. So, yeah, I guess there's many amazing brain, like herbal extracts that can help with brain function. There's many supplements and things like that that can improve overall cognition, memory, learning, things like that. So I definitely think they are worthwhile taking advantage of. And yeah, because I mean these resources are there for us to use. So I guess it's something that I don't see enough Aussies really, exploring that path. There's a lot of, it's very big in the US, but we're very, very far behind here in Australia.
Well, it's okay. I'm sure they will catch up. But you know
Well,
what?
yeah.
I want to say thank you for being so reserved about providing some information, because I guess everyone has a different type of body and we're all different.
Mm,
And for those who are listening and watching, if you're interested, I highly recommend you to reach out to Lucas, because then you will know individually what you need.
yeah.
With the current situation though, with the COVID, what would you suggest people to do more of to help their mental health,
Okay.
really?
Well, isn't it ironic that the first thing would be social support? But if you're in lockdown, like get social, because that helps your mental health the most. But it's the one
Yes,
thing that we cannot do.
yes. But I guess
So
people
yeah,
can get online, get in contact with people. But yeah, continue.
yeah, I guess obviously like next best thing is what we're doing right now, which is like Zoom calls, and then obviously like yeah, food's going to affect their mental health significantly. So avoiding high sugar foods, like high processed foods, they're just really going to mess with many brain chemicals, and specifically like dopamine, which is going to affect your motivation and mood and things like that. So getting the fundamentals right. So trying to go to bed roughly the same time every night and getting up in the morning to do some form of movement. I mean, I just got a walking treadmill desk about 7 weeks ago, and I love it. Like I've literally just, as soon as I get up, I'll just get like 5,000 steps in, and you just feel more without having to reach for sort of caffeine or coffee. It's a really nice way to sort of wake up and sort of clear your head before the day starts.
So basically, cut down your sugar consumption, make sure you move, and get enough sleep. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, they're probably the biggest three areas as for like general mental health. Yeah.
Yeah. What are some foods that you would really suggest people to cut out in their life, just in general?
So avoiding obviously the refined sugars, the processed foods, the fruit juices, the jellies, the very high liquid sugar beverages. So like they're called SSBs, so sugar sweetened beverages. These they're possibly the most harmful thing that people can be consuming from a from mental health perspective, purely because they're in liquid form. The body it gets absorbed so rapidly, and
Mm.
so when it's absorbed so quickly, it's going to lead to a very rapid spike in insulin, because insulin's job is to then bring down the sugar and lower the blood sugar. So anytime we're really dramatically spiking that the blood sugar and insulin, it's going to result in some very detrimental and negative effects in the brain, and specifically related to mood and how someone feels, even like for brain fog and things like that. So definitely avoiding the sugar sweetened beverages. And if you're going to have like, I guess with the smoothies and like things like that, they're okay as long as they have adequate amounts of fiber. So like we need that fiber to stabilize that blood sugar spike so that we're not hungry, 2 hours after we finish.
Yeah. Speaking of absorption, do you care about the stuff that you put on your skin?
Yeah,
What?
yeah. Of course. I'm very selective with what I choose to, even shaving cream and things. I'm very selective in what I choose to use on my skin, because our skin is the biggest organ in the body, and what we put on our skin definitely does get a majority of it can get absorbed and then into the bloodstream and affect our hormones and affect how we feel. So even touching receipts, like I don't touch receipts. I try not to, I try not to, I try not to touch them, because they're actually full of plastic, BPA, that can get through, get absorbed, and then affect our hormones.
So special. Well, for those people, males who are listening and watching, what would be some skincare brands that you would suggest for them then?
Oh, geez, this is a good question. Yeah, there's a few items on iHerb that I would recommend. In terms of like a deodorant, there's a brand called Schmicks. It's quite good. I use their products, and also Everyman Jack. It's a funny name. It's called Everyman Jack is the brand.
Yeah.
They've got some good deodorants and things like that.
Amazing. Well, I just kind of want to remind everyone, no matter if you're a female or male, that you always need to look at the ingredients list with what you eat and what you put on your skin, because honestly, it is so important. Now, I know that you actually help people with their testosterone. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, please?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, it's an area that I'm very passionate about, because it's a major issue for a lot of men, and it's affecting a lot of men, and even men, like a lot of men aren't even aware of it, and they might be thinking, oh, why am I feeling so flat? Why am I feeling so? I don't have any motivation to go to work. I don't have motivation to go to the gym. It's because a lot of the issues can stem all the way back from having low testosterone, and so yeah, it's a big problem. And I definitely, obviously, I developed a webinar and masterclass to help men and educate men on how they can improve their testosterone. So it's a huge area that I'm passionate about, and I've already helped many guys one-on-one with their own like testosterone and their quality of life.
Yeah, thank you so much for being passionate about it, because you're right. I feel like a lot of people are not aware of their hormones and stuff like that. But recently you have launched this thing called, is it called Phoenix?
Oh yeah, the Phoenix.
Yeah. Do you have it with you right now?
It's upstairs in my bedroom.
Darn, but would you like to share it with people actually?
Yeah, so the Phoenix is basically acoustic wave therapy, and it's a device that men can apply on their penis to actually help with blood vessel growth and new blood vessel formation. So what that means is that it helps to restore blood flow to their penis, to obviously help with erection quality and erection strength. And it's been very well researched. There's over 39 published clinical trials talking about this technology. So it's not a scam. I know it's very difficult it sounds very scammy, but the technology definitely works, and specifically better for the sort of age-related plaque. It removes plaque, just like you go to the dentist. Well, men also build up plaque in their penis, so this also helps to eliminate plaque buildup. Yeah.
Oh my god, that is very interesting. Have you tried it yourself?
Yeah, so I've only used it once, because I'm not really a good candidate for it, because I haven't had issues with like erectile dysfunction. So that's what the product's designed for. So and I've spent months trying to improve my testosterone. So I mean, that's never been sort of an issue, but it can be very beneficial for guys that have struggled with ongoing erectile dysfunction or need Viagra or Cialis or things like that to, improve their erection quality.
Yeah. I just want to say, for those who are listening and watching, please don't feel uncomfortable. I just feel like improving your, I don't know, everything would really improve your quality of life. That's how I feel. This is kind of personal. Because you are such a biohacker, what else would you identify yourself with?
So someone who I guess is extremely like passionate and motivated to help people and just help, if I learn something, I feel like my job is to share it. Like, it's to withhold information it just doesn't align with my values, and my job is to just impact millions of people. Like, all that. I work with clients one-on-one, like, I do VIP coaching, things like that. But really, I'm starting to realize that I actually prefer to be working on a bigger scale, bigger, like, to help. And that's what I'm doing with my Instagram and my webinars and things like that. But I really like to think big,
Thank you. And I just want to tell everyone that you are someone who do the research and also test it yourself. So they are not just bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I definitely do pride myself on evidence-based practice. Like, I do, and you can see that through my Instagram. Like, every single comment that I make or statement that I make is always backed by science.
Yeah, and it helps. Like, it really just help people to see everything, I guess, on paper, and it's believable too. Because you are so amazing at looking after yourself, do you still get into those negative spirals?
Yeah, I mean, as in like flat periods and stuff. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm no Superman. I'm not some superhero. I mean, like, I'm just human as well. Like, I still have days where it's a little bit more difficult, but I don't know. I don't think it's anywhere near as difficult for, like, when I say I hit like a little bit of a slump. My slump may not be that bad at all, like, compared to what other people experience. Like, I might hit a slump and it might take a day to recover. And usually it does take like maybe, all I need to do is have a rest because I'm just always overworking. But yeah, I mean, like, that self-care practices and being social is something that I've, been spending more and more time doing because, yeah, obviously my own mental health is important, and I tend to put others first. Like, I am a people pleaser, and I like to put other people first a lot of the time.
Oh my God, I just want to say you are amazing for admitting that you are a people pleaser. And I'm so proud of you that you are aware of that. And I want to remind you that if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. So please do remember to put yourself first. What is your self-care routine like then?
Well, for me, it really sort of stems from, I guess, the morning practice. So, like, making sure that I do get my morning, exercise in. For me, that's like huge self-care because I feel amazing when I exercise. But then, also incorporating, like, just chatting with my close friends and not being afraid to go deep and not being afraid to, like, talk about the deep stuff, because I feel like a lot of the time we skip that. But I actually really enjoy talking about, like, what's your mission, what's your purpose, like, what are your values. And there's a famous quote, and you're probably familiar with it. It's, you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around most. So, and that's something that I've been really, like, keeping a close eye on. And unfortunately, I've had to drop off friends that don't serve me, and I'm sure you've been through something similar with your own journey. with Babylon Grey and developing your own business and stuff, like I'm sure you've had to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice, you know?
I guess I don't look at it as a sacrifice. I just feel like
Mm.
everyone is on a different journey. So like, I accept them, I respect them. If they don't serve me, they don't. Like everyone comes into our lives to teach us lessons. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, what is your routine like now? Has it changed since COVID?
I think I've been getting up a lot earlier during. I think that's because I'm going to bed a lot earlier. I'm going to bed at like 9:30, and so I'm getting up at like 5:30. Not as good as you though. What time do you go to bed?
I am normally in bed around 9:30. I always get so sleepy around 9. And I can't function after 9:30. I'm just like, I need to sleep.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same. Particularly after, actually, in terms of my routine, how it's changed. Well, I've been averaging like 23 to 25,000 steps a day on my walking treadmill desk, which I'm looking at right now, and it's waving back at me. That's probably the biggest thing. Like if I compared the number of steps that I was doing last year, I was averaging like 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day, and now I'm doing like 5 times that amount, or even more. So yeah, I guess this walking treadmill desk and getting the steps in has been, you know, a real game changer for my mental clarity and, you know, and just general vitality and just feeling awesome. And body composition, like I've just gotten so much leaner, which has been a really nice surprise, you know. Dropped a lot of body fat, but still maintained the same number of, like I've been still eating quite a lot, but the weight just keeps dropping off, which is pretty amazing.
Are you trying to lose weight?
I'm not trying to lose weight, but I'm trying to get that body fat down, maybe 1 or 2% more, and just so I can, and I'm trying to build muscle at the same time. So, you know, when you build muscle and you burn fat, the body composition does end up changing significantly.
Yeah. You know what? I really love what you talked about in your podcast about self-worth, because that is definitely something that everyone needs, that are dealing with. How are you feeling about your self-worth today?
It's a good question. Well, I'm actually really feeling amazing because just before this podcast, I just got off a call with a company from the US who's going to help really. I'm ready to commit to, you know, I'm going to invest money into developing my webinars like a bit and scaling that up more. So I'm feeling very like I'm just at the beginning of my career and I haven't even started yet. So I'm really pumped. I'm really pumped.
Oh my God! Congratulations!
Yeah.
So proud of you. Speaking of those amazing moments, what would be your proudest moment in the past, let's say, 8 months?
Tricky one. There's a lot of things I'm proud of. Keeping
Name them all if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I guess just keeping consistent grades with uni, like averaging, you know, distinction. One-on-one consulting, like I'm proud that I'm, you know, scaling that up and developing my Instagram and seeing my webinars sell. Like I'm proud mostly from a business perspective, like because that's really taken off, I guess, this year. But from a personal level, maybe just like having more understanding on and acceptance, self-acceptance for like who I am and what I do, and just being more clear on just my integrity and just who I am, I guess. Like I know what I stand for. I really feel like I do.
Yes, that's beautiful. Speaking of business though, how long have you had ergogenic?
It's only been like I think 18 months or up to 2 years now. So I literally just started out on Instagram, posting just posting from the very beginning. And then that grew exponentially. Then I'm like, oh my God, I need a website. Developed a website maybe like maybe 6 months down the track. And then just now there's just so many elements to the business. It's really just, yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, that's amazing. It just goes to show how like amazing your work is. Would you mind sharing what was, let's say, the top 3 challenges that you had to face?
For me, I guess the first one would have been breaking through like the Instagram noise, because it's very difficult to get attention and to get really good engagement on Instagram. So for me, the biggest challenge there was like, how do I show that my work is amazing? Like I know it's good, but I was like, how do I come across as amazing? So there are a few challenges on Instagram, like how do I get my posts seen more? So I guess like understanding how that works, and basically having the mindset, the quicker I fail, the quicker I learn. So I was like, how can I quickly fail so that I can learn rapidly and then build upon that? So I guess like, yeah, there are a few challenges with Instagram. And then I guess like from a personal thing, it was more about like, because I'm working so much and putting in so many hours, like for me, the challenge is like, how do I avoid burnout? Like, because I was just pushing so hard and always working even till like, 9 o'clock at night and starting really early, and just because for me, the challenge there was that work it doesn't really feel like work for me. It doesn't actually feel like it, because I love it, and it's a passion of mine. So I guess that was like probably the biggest challenge, is like realizing that, oh, actually I need to go out and socialize. I need to go and enjoy but that was another challenge there. Is like, people would say, when are you going to enjoy your life? I'm just like,
I am enjoying it.
I am enjoying it. Exactly. That's the thing. I was like, just couldn't understand that. But then I realized it was just, them projecting their own sort of insecurities on me.
Oh my God, I love the way that you said that, because a lot of times people really just project their own insecurities onto other people. So yeah, amazing that you realize that. So for those who might want to start their own, I guess, small business, what would be like the number 1 tip that you would give them?
It's a good one. So I guess number 1 tip would be just to start, as in like, just make a start, and then you can quickly refine it as you go. It doesn't have to be perfect, and the less you overanalyze, the better. Because like, you can get stuck in that analysis paralysis mode where you're like, should I use this font, or should I use this color? It's like, at the end of the day, it really won't matter. Just get the message across. Like, make sure your message is clear and concise, and then you've got a business. If you've got something that people want, if you've got value that you can provide, and you can package that in a way that's like, they have no choice but to buy it or to join, then you've got a business.
There you go. Thank you so much for sharing that. What about starting a podcast then?
So starting a podcast, it comes back to understanding your vision and what you want to offer, and I guess having those ideas scheduled. Having things scheduled really does help. I'm sure you are probably the most organized podcast host that I've ever been on. So like, you've got no issues there in terms of like,
Thank you.
You could help educate people in this regard in terms of how to start a podcast and just being organized. I mean, being organized is important, and I guess it's something that people should really try not to like keep things too messy. Like, keep a Google Drive, or back up your podcasts and things like that.
You know what? Are there any tips that you can help people with being organized? Like, how can people be more organized?
For me, then actually the number 1 thing that I implemented probably maybe 7 months ago, and it's really simple, was literally just to like commit everything to my Google Calendar. instead of just like keeping it in my head or having a written diary or whatever, I put everything in my Google Calendar. Like even if it's
Love
work
it.
or business, like it's all scheduled. Like I know I got calls this afternoon with friends. I'm like, that's in my Google Calendar. So I don't have to stress and be like, what's on for today or whatever.
Yeah, good tip. I would suggest that as well. Because you know how sometimes like your brain, I would say, can only work so much. So you got to help yourself to remind, what's going on and etc. What would be some things that you would suggest people to, I guess, eat more to improve their brain health?
Possibly the most important macronutrient is healthy fats. So avocados, almonds, pepitas, most of the nuts and seeds are actually very good for brain function and healthy fats. So this may be might be controversial, but actually eating high cholesterol foods are very good for the brain because the brain is mostly, a lot of the membranes are made up of cholesterol. So if we're getting in sufficient cholesterol, we're helping with the neuroplasticity and improving like overall myelination and brain function.
What's your diet like?
Geez, my diet is actually it's very mixed. It's not I don't adhere to any specific like carnivore or vegan or vegetarian. I eat plenty of healthy meats. I eat mixture of vegetables. I definitely don't hold back on carbohydrates. I mean, I get sufficient carbohydrates. I don't avoid grains. There's only certain foods that I just can't really tolerate, and they are like potato starch and like starch in general is like really not good for my constitution.
Yeah. For those who are listening and watching, when you hear the word carbohydrate, I hope you're not thinking of bread or processed stuff. There are other ways to get carbohydrate, by the way. Would you like to tell people about your podcast, please?
So, my podcast, I think I'm up to 13 live episodes, but I've got like 30 in the backlog. But yeah, so it's called Boost Your
Excuse
Biology.
me, did you say 30 in the backlog?
Yeah, 30. I mean, I've been smashing out like 3 a week.
Wow, good on you.
With the Boost Your Biology podcast, yeah, they can check that out. It's on pretty much all the platforms, and there's some pretty cool guests that I've been able to get on the show. So, and I got some pretty big ones coming up as well. So, it's just always going to be growing, and yeah, just keep on pushing.
Yeah. So what can people expect?
Yeah, so they can learn more information on specific diets. They can learn more on certain supplements. We cover, mindset, sports performance, a little bit on weight loss, and nootropics as well. That's like, for me, nootropics that's really my thing. So yeah.
Amazing. So for those who are listening and watching, if you want to boost your life, just in general, please go and check out Lucas's podcast, which is the name Boost
Your Biology.
Boost Your Biology. I will put all his details in the description. Are there any other books or podcasts that you would suggest people to listen?
One of my favorites is actually Ben Greenfield Fitness podcast. He's from the US. He's got some really, really great content. And also the ATP Project, which is an Australian podcast here in Brisbane. They're quite good. And also, they no longer produce any episodes, but it's called Smart Drug Smarts podcast.
The main reason why I asked for you to suggest, content is because I highly think that whatever we consume, like literally even listening, watching, like you said, the people that you surround with is so important. Like everything is like a diet. So yeah, I would highly recommend people to go and follow those podcasts.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. So, because you are like a walking Google, that I can ask you so many things about health. But before I ask you my last question, do you feel like there is anything that in particular that you would like to talk about or I didn't ask?
Not so much, really. We covered some basics. Obviously, if people want to get stuck into more of the technical side of things, they can check out my content on. I've got some cool blogs on my site they can read, and even the podcast they can tune into, and just get stuck into and enjoy my Instagram, because that's really how it all started. And there's some cool content there as well.
I agree. Go and follow Lucas, please. Well, my last question for you is, how do you think we can be there for each other in general?
Well, it comes back to having an open mind and being receptive to learning new things, and avoiding dogmatism, and being, I guess, like being open to hearing different opinions. Because if we're stuck on a particular thought pattern or opinion, and we're not receptive to hearing somebody else's opinion, then we may be missing out on critical information. So I guess, like, always challenging, where you're at, like challenge where you're at. And yeah, don't, just because somebody may be like smaller than you, or different race, or different sort of cultures and values and things like that, we need to understand that we're all here to help each other, and we're all here to serve the same purpose, and that is to share wisdom and provide value.
Love it. Actually, before I say goodbye to you, when did you realize that?
Well, it's probably been floating in my mind for a few years now. Like, probably when I stopped playing soccer. When I stopped playing, towards the end of my soccer career, I realized that I was a lot more than just a soccer player, and that I had more to offer the world. So I think that's really where it's started.
Yes. Thank you so much for saying that, because a lot of times people just, I guess, stuck in the label that they have given themselves. So for those who are watching and listening, I would highly recommend you to liberate yourself to the labels that no longer serve you. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time and your wisdom.
It's been great. It's been fun. I knew it'd be a good chat.
I would love to talk longer, but I would love to have you back on again when you have time. But
Yeah.
For this one, I just really want people to know who you are, what you offer, and really start taking responsibility of their own health, and know that we have a choice, and know that it is possible to biohack themselves.
How are you living your life? What labels have you been putting on yourself which no longer serve you? Did you know you can take control of your own life and your own health? Are you getting enough sleep? Look, there are many, many, many ways to live, and not everyone desires to live in the same lifestyle. I get it. But if you're someone who is interested to live in a life that is fulfilling, that is purposeful, that is impactful, that is energetic and joyful, well, why not check out Lucas's podcast? It's a great start for you to expose to a different way of living. And you will be able to learn about how you can truly look after your health. How would you ever know if ergogenic health or nootropics will help you if you never give it a try? If you know it in your gut that your current lifestyle is not serving you anymore, well, maybe it's time for a new adventure. I'm so excited for you to start living your life fully. Lucas's details are all in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe, click the thumbs up button if you have loved it, and share it with someone, because you never know what they're going through. And remember, you are amazing and you are not alone. I will see you next time!